What is mobility allowance and who can get it?
Okay, mobility allowance is for a person who, because of a disability, can't use public transport without substantial assistance. So the message we like to give there is it's not for people that can't use public transport at all, it's for people that need substantial assistance in order to be able to use public transport independently. It's assessed differently for people with physical disabilities as opposed to people with psychiatric or intellectual or sensory disabilities. So the sorts of things that are looked at for people with physical disabilities is whether you can get on and off the transport, whether you can walk or get to and from public transport. People with psychiatric or sensory disabilities or intellectual disabilities, it's more about whether they have the ability to communicate with the driver and other passengers, whether they can buy a ticket, and also whether they can navigate their way around the public transport system. For people with who live in rural areas, it's also important to know that there doesn't have to be any public transport, just that you're unable to use it should it be available. Now, the other requirement for mobility allowance is that you also have to be undertaking an approved activity for more than 8 hours a week on average. That can be averaged over a month. So, and an approved activity is a combination of education, training, work, paid or unpaid, so voluntary work, or independent living skills. You can be doing any combination of those things as long as you're doing that for more than 8 hours. And the other requirement is that you have to be doing those activities outside your home. So you have to be able to travel. You have to travel to do those activities. But you can obtain mobility allowance for any combination. The other thing to be said about mobility allowance is it's not means tested. That means that your income or assets or anybody else's is not relevant to your getting mobility allowance. So it can be paid, and it is paid, along with other social security payments. But if you're working full time, you can get mobility allowance if you meet the criteria just by itself. There are two rates of mobility allowance. One is for people that are looking for work and on New Start or Youth Allowance, and then there's which is a higher rate, and then there's a slightly lower rate for people that are doing any of the other things. Mobility allowance is a supplement, so you're not expected to live on it. Is an amount to assist you with the costs of public transport or alternative transport. But it is a fixed rate. The law says that you can only receive a certain amount, so it doesn't actually change according to how many taxi fares you require or anything else.
For more information, visit the Youth Disability Rights Hub at www.youthdisabilityrights.org.au.